what you call landscape horizontal manner, so it will look good. And if you have problems, still some problem, and you can go to my video. I don't know how it looks. Sometimes you can share me the screenshot of your मोबाईल कसा दिसतोय मी तिथं तुमच्याकडं, म्हणजे मला कळेल की दिसण्यामध्ये काय अडचणी आहेत का. Quickly we'll go. Yesterday we have seen Gaj and Gajgamini story to understand the kind of difference between forces and stresses. That is, if we cannot say anything by knowing the forces, but it is important with respect to that forces. We have to understand how these forces are applied and what type of geometry these forces are applied. These few more points are also important. That's what we have seen yesterday, right? And then we continued with understanding what is the significance of estimating or calculating the stresses. Stress क्यों निकालना है, उसका हमने जवाब ढूंढा. So mainly when we, as a structural engineer, we have two purposes: either make the structure fail or make the structure which will not fail in under given loading. तुम्ही म्हणणार, can we make a structure which will not fail? No. You have to understand there is no structure we can make that it will not fail, but we have to understand the next thing, that for given loading or for estimated loading. So that's what we have to understand. And when we will go for the final year, etc., you will learn that we cannot make our structure foolproof. That is, we have like a different levels of designs in that. For example, if someone says, sir, whatever type of Richter scale earthquake comes, my structure should not fail, then such structure will become uneconomical. And that's why we apply some logic saying once in a lifetime, if earthquake comes of this capacity, my structure should sustain. So this we have to make various assumptions and based on that. And that's why also you have to mention these assumptions when you are telling others about how you design the structure, etc. These assumptions are important, because under these assumptions only whatever estimated your loads are there, those loads are valid, otherwise they will not be valid. For example, if I say my building is constructed for residential purpose, and if I start using for some other industrial purpose, then we might not have considered the dead load generated by the machines which we are going to install, and that's where the problem will start. So you have to keep on inculcating these things in your mind, that whatever I will do load estimation is for a particular assumption, and it cannot be universally true. So as we discussed here, that nothing, no one can make, even the creator, they say in our Purana, or you can say epic books, what do you call, who was the person who built Sri Krishna's house. So I forgot. So she cannot also make the creator cannot also make. Sometimes there is a chance of failure, collapse, death. So these things are bound to happen, but under what condition it will sustain, these assumptions are important. And yesterday we have seen these four types of loads, that is axial, bending, torsion, and shear force. And I told you, I told you there will not be any other types of loads than these loads in case of static. Again, you have to be very clear. This I'm talking with respect to static load. And we have seen further, like what is meant by material property and system property. Can you recall? Can you open your mouth and explain? Who will explain me difference between material property and system property? Keep shouting. Let simultaneously voices come. What is material property? What is system property? What is difference between them? Example, etc. Can you quote somewhere and start talking? घरच्यांना कळू दे आपलं चालू झालंय कॉलेज. हॅलो 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 हॅलो, येतो का आवाज? माय कम्प्युटर सेज आय एम रिचिंग टू यू. material property, system property. These fundamentals, if you make clear, then you will become a good engineer. Otherwise, every time it will be difficult. Let me open participant. Yes, Shingari. Continue.
सर मटेरियल प्रॉपर्टी हे प्रत्येक मटेरियल मध्ये चेंज होते.
मटेरियल मध्ये की मटेरियल नुसार
डिपेंड
चेंज
राहते.
होते. हा, करेक्ट.
मटेरियल नुसार चेंज होते.
गुड गुड गुड.
आणि सिस्टम प्रॉपर्टी ही मटेरियल वर डिपेंड राहत नाही.
गुड.
चेंज होत नाही.
करेक्ट. एक्झाम्पल्स.
एक्झाम्पल मटेरियल प्रॉपर्टी म्हणलं तर आपलं डेन्सिटी आणि सिस्टम प्रॉपर्टी वेट.
Very good, very good. At least to begin with, before we study other properties, the properties which you have studied in the physics, you can remember that material property which you have earlier studied, that is weight and what is that? Material property is not weight. Weight density is a material property and weight is the system property.
System property.
Any other person, any other example, and you have to explain also. Yesterday I explained why to say weight as a system property, because we have seen in the physics weight density into volume comes as a weight, right? And weight density is in that is a material property, whereas a volume comes from geometry. We have to get the 3 different dimensions, BDH we say, right? So from that we get the volume. Or maybe for circle some other formula. Sorry, for sphere we have some other formula. So combination of these two things will create into system property, right? So any other person can give example, some other things quickly. So please understand, we will have to go this thing as a classroom teaching. It will not be like a. Yes, then further we studied linear and non-linear. Next person, let's see who will tell me linear and non-linear difference. One I said with mathematical expression, another I said with the geometric phenomena.
Y equal to C.
Y equal
highest power 1.
Okay, very good. Y is equal to mx plus c, the line equation, the one things which, I mean, linear equation. Equation should be linear, then only it will be called as, I gave again the example of one dimension case, Sanket ji. So if there are two inputs, x1 and x2, then my equation will become y is equal to a1 x1 plus a2 x2 plus some constant c, right? So likewise, but power of those input parameter x1 and x2 should be one only. If it becomes more than one or less than one, then that system will not remain linear. Okay, next, from the graph point of view, from this graph, what we said, slope will remain constant for the linear system, whereas slope keeps on varying with respect to input, then that system will be called as a non-linear. Let's go ahead. Static and dynamic. What is static and dynamic? Yesterday I suggested modified definition. What was static and dynamic? Two things you have to remember related to static and dynamic. One is it's a definition or difference between static, when to say static and when to say dynamic. What is static and dynamic?
Body is in rest, is static, and something change with respect to time is dynamic.
Very good. If something which is not changing with respect to time, then it is called as a static. If something which changes with respect to time is dynamic. Suppose if I am not moving from here for let's say, and if you want to go to in a further detail, like sir, kadiparant time mojaita, so that is also important. That's why if you want to understand higher level thing, some things may be static for a what do you call shorter period, but they may be dynamic for the longer period. Suppose I am sitting here without motion for 1 hour, so I am like a behaving static. But if you take my motion for a whole day, it will become like a dynamic. That's one example. Second, system will behave static or dynamic, it depends on the force applied. Okay, so it is not the fault of system whether it will behave static or dynamic. It is fault of applied load. मैंने क्या है कि जो हम लोड लगाते हैं वो अगर स्टैटिक लोड है तो सिस्टम स्टैटिक की तरह बिहेव करेगा, जो हम लोड लगाते हैं वो डायनामिक लोड है तो रिस्पॉन्स क्या आएगा, डायनामिक. यानी इफ वी टेक अ कैंटिलीवर बीम, that is a system cantilever beam, and if applied load P is a constant with respect to time, P is a constant. What is meant by P is constant with respect to time? If I take here time on this axis and P here, and if I have a this thing cantilever beam, and then it's a behavior deflection, if you say some value will be there which is constant value, whereas, so I forgot, so this we will call, let us say P naught. So if I apply P naught constant, and if now system is same, and if what I did is, so instead of constant load, if I plot P versus T as a varying with respect to time, and then what will happen here is my cantilever beam, if I take same cantilever beam and in that T is a function of time, then this delta will also become a function of time, and the response in this case of delta also will be with respect to time. Means if input is a function of time, then output here, this, if we plot static delta, it will come like this. So if input is a function of time, obviously what will happen, output also will be function of time only. Output also will be function of time. Okay, let's continue what we studied further. Deterministic and stochastic system. So if you see this one line, single line, that is called as a deterministic, and whatever this zigzag, so that means you don't know exact value, then it will become as a stochastic. Don't know meaning what? I will tell you further story, then you will understand. For example, a designer made a hole, क्या बोलते हैं, nut bolt. In mechanical engineering, nut bolt is there, right? In civil also sometimes you need. This is called as a nut. And if I have to have a bolt like this, okay. So if this internal diameter, this diameter should be equal to this, right? This diameter equal to this. Theoretically, when we design as a bookish example, what happens? The internal diameter of this bolt should be equal to the external diameter of this nut. Okay, but if I tell a manufacturer to make such 1,000 bolts, right, and if I take such 1,000 nuts, okay, then what will happen? The manufacturing, the machining people will make some error, and there will be these diameters will, let's say D is equal to 2 centimeter you have taken. This D is equal to 2 centimeter will not be there. If you take, have you heard vernier caliber to measure the dimension? If you start measuring this dimension of 1,000, if you make a chart of, let us say, nut number and the diameter, and then you say bolt number and diameter, and if you start listing here, these will be little smaller than, it depends on the accuracy of manufacturing. Again, it will be little smaller than 2 or little bigger than the 2. So these things we have to estimate how much D equals to 2 centimeter plus minus, whether it is a 1 mm, 2 mm, 3 mm, so that we can decide the something called as a tolerance between these two. That's why you have to keep that, then you have to decide accordingly the tolerance limit between these two. And also it's not only that once I decide that tolerance, everything will be fine. What else we have to do? The quality control people will have to ensure I have allowed 2 centimeter plus minus 2 mm. That means if I set 1.96 centimeter, am I making some mistake? Yes, I guess. If I say 1.5 centimeter, will it allowed? No, because it has crossed the tolerance limit. Such useful information will come from the stochastic. Then you will ask, sir, why are we studying deterministic? Because first of all, we have to understand fundamental, but you have to always keep it in mind that these will be uncertainties. And then your question will be, sir, हम लोग कैसे इससे डील करते हैं, ये अनसर्टेनिटी से? हम लोग इतना स्टॉकेस्टिक कभी करते हुए देखा नहीं, तो कैसे करते हैं? तो you will see in our study there is a something called as FOS, factor of safety. Factor of safety माने क्या है? So if you have, like for example, we design very nicely M20 concrete. What is M20 concrete? The concrete which has strength 20 Newton per mm square. So then, like, but while on sites, if some people make mistake and there is a tolerance allowed, maybe 10-20% here and there, but if you say theoretically 20% considered, then it should perform like that. No. So who will take care of that? These uncertainties will be taken care of by the something called as a factor of safety. And that's why जितना ज्यादा अनसर्टेनिटी रहेगा वो फैक्टर ऑफ सेफ्टी बढ़ेगा या कम होगा? जितने खराब लोग हैं हमारे पास, उतना क्या करना पड़ेगा? हमको ज्यादा लेना पड़ेगा. हमको पता है ये खराब लोग है, ये स्ट्रेंथ हमको 20 न्यूटन पर सेंटीमीटर देने वाले नहीं है, तो हमें क्या, what we will have to do is we have to increase the factor of safety. What is meaning of that? If uncertainty is more, then FOS is more, factor of safety is more. Means we have to keep more, because we know if even though that person who is making concrete, if he does something malpractice, he is not performing correct, still my structure should not fail. Who will take care? That is factor of safety. If uncertainty is minimum or less, then your FOS will be, factor of safety will be less. So that's why you will see for the concrete you have to take more factor of safety as compared to steel, because steel is factory manufactured whereas concrete is site manufactured. So these things we will have to take care. Shall we go ahead? Sachin ji, Akanksha ji, if you are not asking question, you can mute. Let's go ahead. So I guess up to this part we have discussed yesterday, and then today we will continue with the remaining terms, and then we will introduce with syllabus, and we will start as per our syllabus, and we will also in between we discussed about what is the significance of in the process. I had tried to explain you the significance. In between maybe we will take little bit prerequisite also, because you had one semester, बीच में एक semester गया, right? But आपको साठे सर ने कुछ example लिए होंगे, फिर भी I will repeat some of the simple examples what you studied in applied mechanics, so that will become foundation. Okay, so let us go ahead. Next term we get confused with is like stiffness and strength. Yesterday we have seen strength. So you have to understand stiffness is resistance to deform, whereas strength is resistance to failure. And this is one last term I guess I will teach, and then we will go to the syllabus part. So this is a very useful principle. It's first we will understand from mathematics point of view, and then we will come from the what do you call engineering, from the our mechanics point of view, right? So let me take the board and explain. Okay, whether whiteboard is visible. This is very important principle, मगर बहुत लोग भूल जाते हैं, पता नहीं होता है. ये first of all you understand this principle of superposition we are studying. What is this principle? Board दिसतोय का whiteboard?
Yes, sir.
Superposition. Principle of, thank you. Principle of superposition. What is principle of superposition? क्या होता है principle of superposition? So in the principle of superposition, for example, if I have a equation 5x is equal to 10. So what will be the solution? X is equal to 10 by 5 is equal to 2, right? Mathematically I am proving. Then if someone says, sir, मुझे 5 का टेबल नहीं आता है, can you make it simpler? Yes, I will say you can split this 10 into 2 parts. So what I can do is 5x1 is equal to 5, and then I will write 5x2. This side system will not change, only we will label. So is equal to 5, right? Then you know that x is nothing but we have divided it. What is that? x1 plus x2. Then what you will get answer? x1 is equal to 5 by 5 is equal to 1, and x2 is equal to 5 by 5 is equal to 1. And then if you apply this equation, x is equal to x1 plus x2 is equal to 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. This is called as principle. Sir, आपने तो आधे आधे में divide किया. Can we divide it in uneven and check whether answer will be correct? Yes, let us try this. So what we can do is maybe 5x1, instead of making this 528 we can do, right? So this will be 2, and 5x2 is equal to, remaining out of, if we subtract from 10, it will remain 8. Total 4 should be same, right? So then what will be answer? Answer x1 will be what? 2 by 5, and x2 will be what? 8 by 5. And then if, shall we check whether it is valid? X is equal to x1 plus x2 आता है क्या? So let us see, 2 by 5 plus 8 by 5 is equal to, what is that? 10 by 5 is equal to, answer is 2. आप बोलेंगे ये सर क्या सिखा रहे? ये तो obvious है. ये obvious नहीं है. This principle of superposition is not valid in case of non-linear system. अब ये non-linear system क्या होता है? If you see here, if I move this board and I will take same equation, only what I will do is I will change the power of x, then it will become non-linear. Now it has become non-linear. Same equation, only power of x I made, instead of 1 it became 2. And then what will be the solution? What will be, let us take only positive solution. X square is equal to 10 by 5, so is equal to 2, and that will be x is equal to how much? Square root of 2. How much? 1.414, right? 1.4. Let us try this, whatever we did just now, and see whether principle of superposition is valid. So what is that? X is equal to x1 plus x2. Then we can write two equations. x1 square हमें चेक करना है, इक्वल है नहीं, अभी हमको पता नहीं है. 5 and 5x2 square is equal to 5. Okay, and then what will happen? x1 is equal to what? x1 square is equal to 5 by 5 is equal to 1. x2 square is equal to 5 by 5 is equal to 1, and therefore x1 is equal to 1 and x2 is equal to 1, and that will check whether x1, what is x? X is 1.4.1, but what we have said, x1 plus x2 is equal to how much? 1 plus 1, that is 2. That means 1.414 is not equal to 2. And you will see answer will also not remain the I guess unique. If you change the rule of splitting, then again answer will keep varying. Whereas we have seen earlier, even though we had changed the rule of splitting, answer did not change. So if we take x1 square is equal to 2, and then 5x2 square is equal to 8. So from this you get x1 is equal to how much? 2 by 5. 2 by 5, and then square root of that, it will be 0.63, right? And x2 is equal to how much? 8 by 5, and square root of that, 8 by 5 is equal to, and square root of that, that is 1.26. 1.26. And if you add that, I guess this is coming same answer. This 1.26 plus 0.63, that is, no, it is changing. It is, I guess, around 1.89 is coming. So neither this remains same.
1.89.
Correct. So it is not coming 2. So that means as your splitting rule changes, answer will change. So that's how a principle of superposition is not valid for what case? कशासाठी वैलिड नाही आणि कशासाठी वैलिड आहे? किसके लिए वैलिड नहीं और किसके लिए? For linear system, principle of superposition is valid, whereas non-linear system, principle of superposition is not valid. Now let me show it with the example of applied mechanics. Applied mechanics का एक example लेते हैं हम लोग reaction calculation का, है ना? आपको आता है सबको reaction calculation? अगर नहीं आता है तो हम लोग एक आध दूसरा practice लेने वाले. फिर भी I will take a simple example for reaction calculation, and I will show you how principle of superposition works in case of reaction calculation. Suppose I have a beam, simple wala I will take, and I have a 2 loads here, maybe 10 kilonewton. I will take simple loads so that we can quickly solve this, and say the space is 2 meter, 2 meter, 2 meter. And you can see as it is a symmetric, so what will be reaction here? Reaction at A and reaction at B. तर सोडवत बसायला लागेल.
10 10
10 10, right? So RA will be also 10 and RB will also be 10. Now someone said, sir, I cannot solve such a difficult question. Can you make it simple? Can you take one load at a time and show me answer comes it correctly or not? Yes. So what I will do, this structure, I will divide one load at a time. I will calculate reactions, and then what I should get is RA is equal to RA1 plus RA2, and then similarly what I should get, RB is equal to RB1 plus RB2. इसको बोलते हैं प्रिंसिपल. So आप बोलेंगे सर ये क्या कर रहे हैं, क्यों कर रहे हैं? So you will see that maybe in your second semester it is required, but as I am taking fundamental initial part, so this principle you should keep it in mind. कॉम्प्लेक्स सिस्टम, जितना कॉम्प्लेक्स सिस्टम है हम उसको सिंपल कर सकते हैं. एक एक चीज एक बार लेके उसका रिएक्शन लेके उसको ऐड कर सकते हैं. कोई भी रिएक्शन हो, डिफॉर्मेशन हो, स्ट्रेस हो, स्ट्रेन हो, मगर कंडीशन क्या है? व्हाट इज कंडीशन? ये प्रिंसिपल ऑफ सुपरपोजिशन तभी वैलिड होता है, कभी वैलिड होता है? बार बार हमको बताना चाहिए खुद को, क्या है? when this
Linear system.
yes, where this principle of superposition is valid only in case of linear system. Let us see whether in our reaction calculation this becomes valid or not. If I take same beam and one this load as a first, and then I have reaction RA1 and RB1, and this load is now 10 kilonewton only, then this is a 2 and this will become 4. So if I apply summation of EFV equal to 0, so what will happen? RA1 plus RB1 is equal to 10, and then what I have to do is I have to apply the next equation. What is next equation? That is moment equation, right? So moment summation of m at A equals to 0. So what will happen? Minus 6RB1 plus how much? 10 into 2, याद है क्या आपको सबको, या नया लग रहा है ये चीज? इज इक्वल टू 0.
नहीं सर, ये
तो फ्रॉम दैट व्हाट आई विल गेट RB1, ये इधर जाएगा या ये निगेटिव वाला इधर लेके जाओ. सो 20/6 कितना आता है? 20/6 इज इक्वल टू
3.33।
3.33. अब ये 3.33 यहाँ सब्सटीट्यूट करेंगे तो हमको RA1 मिलेगा. RA1 इज इक्वल टू व्हाट? 10 minus 3.33 is equal to how much? 6.67. So it will come as a 6.67. ये एक पार्ट हो गया इस सिस्टम का. Now we will apply the second load. We will apply the second load and we will keep the system same. Only reaction will change. RA2 and this will become RB2. And here what will be the load? 10 kilonewton, 2 meter and 4 meter. कुणाला समजत नसेल तर मध्येच थांबा, हळूहळू हळू सर थांब, स्लो म्हणा. फास्ट चाललो असेल तर स्लो सांगा. कुणाला काय अडचण आहे का?
नाही सर.
Sir.
बॉईजची नावं घेतो. रियाज मुलानी, ओंकार गोसावी, रोहित कोळी, सचिन जाधव. त्यांनी अगोदरच थंब अप केलंय त्यामुळे त्यांना काहीच प्रॉब्लेम नाही. सचिन राऊत, सचिन रोकडे, समाधान राऊत, शिवकुमार साखरे. काय अडचण आहे का?
नाही सर, नाही.
पोचतंय ना व्यवस्थित? येतंय ना गावापर्यंत पाणी आपलं?
हा येत.
हा ठीक आहे. मध्ये बोर झालं तर सांगा, बालगीते येतात म्हणतो मी 2-4. ठीक आहे. So let us apply summation of FV equal to 0. Again similar equation. So what you have is RA2 plus RB2 is equal to 10, and then second equation summation of M at A equals to 0, and then what will be that? Then what will happen? Minus 6 RB2 plus, now what is that? 10 into 4. 10 into 4 is equal to 0. So RB2 is equal to how much? It must come as a 6.67 kilonewton. And if you substitute this here, so what you have is RA2 is equal to 10 minus 6.67 is equal to 3.33. And now you can see here, if you see RA1, how much is RA1? 6.67. And what is RA2? 3.37. Can you add them and get the RA value? Can you get the add them and get the RA value? If I can reduce the zoom, yes. So you can see 6.67 plus 3.37. Answer comes as a 10, which was a combined system. तो डिवाइड करने से कुछ फर्क पड़ा क्या? लोड एकाध तसुभर भी कम हुआ क्या? कुछ कम हुआ उसमें? नहीं, मुझे नहीं लगता है कुछ भी कम हुआ. Even not a fraction. Whatever errors we are getting, those are truncation error and kind of calculator or ignoring error. But these are not coming because of the process or system error. Is it clear? That's how we will see a principle of superposition. So if you are really interested, sir, क्या ये तो easy चीजें है. So आप पूछेंगे कि सर ये क्यों लगता है, कब लगता है? So if you see, I will give you one example कब काम में आता है principle of superposition. Can you solve this problem? किसको आता है बताइए, ये प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकते हैं क्या हम लोग? बहुत सिंपल है. अभी हमने पढ़ाई शुरू नहीं किया है. जस्ट आई एम टेस्टिंग, रिवाइजिंग प्रीवियस नॉलेज. जरा याद करो, सोचो. पहले तो हमको कितने रिएक्शन है बताओ, टोटल रिएक्शंस एंड मोमेंट ऐड करके.
रिएक्शन्स आहेत सर.
किती रिएक्शन आहेत टोटल? आवाज आला नाही. रिएक्शन 2 आहेत आणि मोमेंट्स किती आहेत? दोन रिॲक्शन आणि दोन movement आहेत, right? So if you see here,
Yes,
so
sir.
if you see here, let me change the color of the pen. Oh, here. So this is one reaction, this is another. If you call this as a RA, this as a RB, and then there is a YMA, and then there is a YMB. YMA and YMB. So there are how many unknowns? 4 unknowns. And how many equations are there? 2 equations. 2 equations. Which one? Summation of FV equal to 0 and summation of M equal to 0. We have ignored horizontal. If we would have considered horizontal, right now we have ignored horizontal. Actually, आपके फर्स्ट ईयर के ज्ञान से ये तो horizontal भी आना चाहिए, यानी 4 की बजाय here it should have become 6 unknown, और आपके ये इक्वेशन वर्टिकल मूवमेंट एंड इक्वेशन समेशन ऑफ FH भी आएगा. So क्या हो जाएगा? So you have 3 equations and how many unknown? 6 unknown. ऐसा प्रॉब्लम आपने कभी सॉल्व किया है?
Yes, sir.
किया है?
Yes, sir.
कहाँ पे?
Yes, sir. Applied mechanics.
No, you have not solved. Your teachers have not taught you correctly. So whatever problems you have solved until now, those problems, whatever you solved, what was there? So number of unknowns. What was the condition? Number of unknowns. You go back and check your assignment books. Number of unknowns is equal to number of equations. All what you have solved, this kind of problem. Such problems are called as a determinate. आप confused ना हो deterministic and determinate. Or the problem where number of unknowns are more than number of equation are called as indeterminate. Your next semester subject is there. Second section is full of such problems. Now you don't know. So what type of problems you have solved? Mainly simply supported, है ना? Cantilever. Okay? या तो ऐसा problem solve किया है तो आपको क्या चाहिए? You need 2 more hinges. Because what will happen? If you ignore horizontal forces, how many unknowns are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, and equations, summation of FV, summation of M, and if you call this as a C and D, then summation of M at C equals to 0, and summation of M at D equals to 0. यानी क्या हो गया? 4 unknown, 4 equation हो गए. समझ में आया? ये अगर सॉल्व करना है तो हमको क्या चाहिए? 2 hinges मारने पड़ेंगे कहीं तो. यूजुअली हम लोग जब नेक्स्ट सेमेस्टर में जाएंगे, यू विल पुट दिस hinges not in between but here, temporarily, not permanent. And that's where you will apply the principle of superposition. So how do we do? Time being, we will focus only on resolving it as a according to principle of superposition. So what we do here usually when we solve in the next semester, you will solve. So you first we draw the complete diagram here. We are ignoring horizontal because the force is not inclined. So obviously summation of horizontal forces will not be there. So there are 2 unknowns and 2 equations. So what we can do is we can split this into 2 problems. One what we can make is we call it as a MA, MB, RA, RB, and then what you have is first we will take this 20 kilonewton and then we call this as a RA1 and RA2, and then what you have is one more problem will be there, that is YMA and YMB. So and then you have this as a RA2 and what is that? This is RB1. and this will be RB2. And then once you analyze this separately, then it becomes a two unknown, two equation condition. And then you analyze this equation and you will understand RA1 plus RA2 is equal to RA, and RB1 plus RB2 equals to RB. So this is how we apply the principle of superposition in case of solid mechanics or structural analysis. Shall we go ahead, resume our previous slide? Okay. So I guess this is what I wanted to tell. We will come back to the remaining slides. So let us start to our exact what is the syllabus and what is the what are we going to study. Okay, so let me show this syllabus. If you can read, you can. Is it visible properly? Okay, so this is the structure of our syllabus. Hello, audible है, दिख रहा है सबको?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. So this is the syllabus. In that you should know code of the subject CV216. हमारे notebook पे properly ये लिखना चालू करो. Introduction to Solid Mechanics is the name of subject. SY BTech Civil Engineering semester part 1 semester 3. What is the teaching scheme? 3 hour lecture and 1 hour tutorial, so around 4 hours. But to begin with, we have started 5 hours per week lectures. Tomorrow also morning 1 hour I will conduct. And then we have ISE of 30 marks and ESE of 30 marks. So there is no ICA for this. Course objectives. What are the course objectives? To comprehend about of various elastic constants and their relationships to evaluate stresses and strains in the materials. So what we will be studying here, we have to understand what are the elastic constant, what are the terms in it, and what is the relation between various elastic constants, and how to use those elastic constants for calculating stresses and strains in materials. Second objective of this course is to impart knowledge of the behavior of structural member under various types of external loading and calculation of their strength in tension, compression, shear, bending, and torsion. So, if you see the second objective is very nice, you will understand the difference. Up to your this thing in your engineering mechanics subject, what we studied is calculation of reactions and movements, maybe in various types of beams and trusses, I guess, right? And now we have to know also how to calculate reactions. नहीं तो सर ये स्ट्रेस का निकालते वक्त रिएक्शन कैलकुलेट करना नहीं आया तो चलेगा नहीं, आपको वो आना ही आना है. Or I will not assume that you know it, so I will take some of the brush up examples again for the reaction calculations, etc. Okay, so to impart the knowledge of the behavior of structural members under various types of external loadings and calculation of their strength in tension, compression, shear, bending, and torsion. Third point is to educate the students about principal planes and principal stresses and strains due to combination of axial forces, bending moments, and shear. So next is this will almost cover, I guess, per section. What are the principal plane? What are the principal stresses? Whatever your normal and shear stresses you will get, that will have to be converted into principal planes and principal stresses. Why to convert? How to convert? That also you have to remember. So, and you will see that like your different types of loadings are there that will generate the direct stresses and shear stresses. That has to be converted into principal stresses, and why to convert we will understand. to analyze statically determinate. Can you see this term which I was talking just now? Statically determinate. Here you see this term, statically determinate. और आपने जो पढ़ा वो था स्टैटिकली डिटर्मिनेट बीम ओनली. कौन कौन से बीम पढ़े आपने? एक कैंटिलीवर बीम पढ़ा होगा और सिंपली सपोर्टेड. मुझे नहीं लगता ये टाइप का बीम पढ़ा होगा आपने, राइट? Because this becomes indeterminate. Why this becomes indeterminate? I had answered this. Here there are two unknowns. If there is a vertical, if there is an inclined load, then it will be 3 unknowns. 2 plus 2, 4 unknowns, minus equations are 2. So 2 more unknowns we are not able to calculate. That's why this is not a determinate beam. So this whole subject or this whole course is only and only focusing on statically determinate. So you should not worry about statically indeterminate. Where will you study this? You will study in the second semester. And good news or bad news, now our third year's engineering, structural mechanics 3 subject has been removed in the modified syllabus, and that's why I will also be with you in the second semester. अगर आपको अच्छा लगा तो आप बोले ये टीचर चेंज कर दो, तो हम लोग चेंज करके देंगे, ठीक है? So I will also be there for that teaching that subject. So that's why your second semester syllabus has become very difficult, because we have merged structural mechanics in old syllabus, structural mechanics 1, structural mechanics 2, and structural mechanics 3. 3 courses are merged now into 2 courses. One is introduction to solid mechanics and second semester structural analysis. Okay, further, to impart the knowledge of drawing influence line diagrams for shear force bending movements and on the girder due to rolling load. So what happens, हमारे जो bridges वगैरह है या girders रहते हैं, on that case what kind of load is there? Rolling load is there. So location of loads are not constant. Usually when we design our regular building structures, the loads are always constant and static. So whereas in case of bridges and girders, what happens is loads are being in the motion. Under such situation, how to get the answer, or how to get the maximum bending moment, how to get maximum shear force, that can be done using influence line diagram. Similar to objective. What is objective? Objective हम शुरू करने से पहले सेट करते हैं कि भाई हमको पंढरपुर तक भागना है या सोलापुर तक भागना है. और व्हाट इज कोर्स आउटकम? ये खत्म होने के बाद मैंने डिसाइड तो किया था पंढरपुर तक भागना है, मगर मैं कहाँ तक पहुंचा? गोपालपुर तक ही गया. तो हम लोग कहाँ तक पहुंचे चेक करने के लिए व्हाट इज देयर इज कॉल्ड एज कोर्स आउटकम. यानी मैंने पढ़ाने की कोशिश तो की, मगर आपको क्या क्या समझ में आया, दैट इज नथिंग बट कोर्स आउटकम. और ये कोर्स आउटकम how are we going to test? आपके जो ISE है, यूनिट टेस्ट है, जो आपके में भी असाइनमेंट बुक्स है, उसमें आपने कैसे लिखा इसके रिस्पेक्ट में, आपको समझ में कितना आया, ये चेक करने के लिए ये है. So and then what should be, how I will set my question paper? My question papers are based on these course outcomes. So at the end of the course, students will able to employ the knowledge of structural mechanics to depict the behavior of structure, then identify principal planes and find principal stresses. Then what students should know? Students should be able to draw shear force diagram and bending moment diagram of statically determinate beam. Then students should be able to evaluate bending and shear stresses in beam. And last one, students should be able to analyze the behavior of structure under moving load using influence line diagram. ये सारी चीजें आपको आ गई, मतलब मेरा पढ़ाना धन्य हो गया. So I have fulfilled the objective what I have said. So if you are satisfied, if you can understand, so that is these are the course of outcomes and objectives. Now let us see one by one syllabus and what are the units we are going to study. So section 1, what we have is unit 1, we call it as a introduction unit, and in this what is there is scope of the subject, behavior of engineering material under axial loading, simple stresses and strains, Hooke's law, stress strain relation for the ductile and brittle material, elastic constants, working stress. I will advise you to note down this syllabus in the notebook as a first 2 pages. Maybe I will share this link, or maybe I will send the syllabus on WhatsApp. Please copy. Why syllabus is important? आप जिस गांव जा रहे हो उसका आपको पता होना जरूरी है, so that you will, those keywords you will remember. So Hooke's law, stress strain relation for ductile and brittle material, elastic constants, working stress, factor of safety, stress and strains in 3 dimensions. So you should know linear, shear and volumetric. These are another different strains. Normal and shear stresses, complementary shear stress, relation between elastic constants, assumptions in elastic analysis, Sen-Venant principle, composite section under axial loading, एप कंपाउंड बार. यानी आप जो देखोगे ये सिलेबस पे प्रॉब्लम आता है और ये पूरा सिलेबस पे क्या आता है, थ्योरी आता है. बट दिस यूनिट, though it is very simple, is useful from all the competitive examination point of view. It's as good as a fundamental of structural engineering. So please don't go by number of marks etc for this unit, but go by thinking that these fundamentals should be clear. आगे का कुछ कुछ चीजें आपको नहीं आया तो चलेगा, मगर किसी ने आपको पूछा स्ट्रेस क्या होता है, आप परफेक्टली नहीं बता पाए, यानी डक्टाइल मटेरियल क्या होता है आप नहीं बता पा रहे, ब्रिटल मटेरियल क्या होता है आप नहीं बता पा रहे, हुक्स लॉ क्या होता है आपको पता नहीं, इलास्टिसिटी क्या है आपको पता नहीं है, then that will not be appreciated. If someone immediately says like how to convert principle, can you write expression equation, you may say sir I forgot, let me just tell you the philosophy etc. But fundamental चीजें हम नहीं भूल सकते, you have to focus on that. Second unit is principal stresses and strains for 2D problem, normal shear stress, normal and shear stresses on inclined plane, principal plane and principal stresses, principal strains and principal stresses in beams, and stress and trajectory. So if you see here, unit 2, unit 3 and unit 4 are linked with each other, whereas unit 1 is independent. आपको unit 2 समझ में आया तो ही आप यूनिट 3 समझ पाएंगे, नहीं तो सर 2 को जरा छुट्टी लेता हूँ, इधर उधर घूमता हूँ, 3 को आ जाता हूँ तो नहीं चलेगा. So they are dependent unit, and unless until you understand unit 2 and unit 3, unit 4 you will not able to understand. That's why this subject becomes very easy provided you attend my classes. Otherwise this subject is the most difficult subject. ये similar subject में मैकेनिकल में यूजुअली पिछले 4-5 साल से 40% से ज्यादा रिजल्ट नहीं लगता है, मगर मेरा ऑलवेज इट इज मोर देन 90-95% रिजल्ट. सो you should understand importance कि आप ये खुद से सेल्फ लर्निंग से या मगअप करके आपको ये सब्जेक्ट पास होना बहुत डिफिकल्ट है. सो माय सिंसियर रिक्वेस्ट, आपके अगर दोस्त है जो समझदार नहीं है मगर आपको दोस्ती निभानी है, क्यों मानसी जी, है ना, तो आपको समझा दो कि अगर आपको सच में मेरा पढ़ाई अच्छा भी नहीं लग रहा है तो बताओ उनको कि नहीं नहीं सर बहुत अच्छा पढ़ाते हैं, मिस मत करो. ये ऐसे थोड़ा सा उनका बार बार ब्रेन स्टॉर्मिंग करो, हैमरिंग करो, और उनको जो अभी भी 8-10 लोग absent रह रहे हैं, कुछ कुछ लोग बीच बीच में जा रहे हैं, सो प्लीज टेक थिंग्स सीरियसली, चेंज करो कुछ. अगर अभी सारा सिस्टम भी चालू हो गया है, आपका यहाँ कार्ड नहीं वर्क होता है तो दूसरा ले लो, मुफ्त में ही मिलता है, जियो का कार्ड लेना है या कुछ और कार्ड लेना है, देखो कैसे कर सकते हैं। सबसे डिफिकल्ट तो मुझे लगता है जो जम्मू से आए हुए लोग हैं उनको ही है। उधर कभी कभी वो गवर्नमेंट रिस्ट्रिक्शंस के कारण 2G नेटवर्क रहता है, बट अदरवाइज ऑल अदर प्लेसेस देयर शुड नॉट बी इवन प्रॉब्लम। Okay, so unit 3 combined bending, torsion, thrust shaft subjected to simultaneous bending. Torsion, thrust means ये जो whatever we will study in unit 2 applications will be studied in unit 3. और then unit 4 में क्या है? What is unit 4? Whatever this applications and this fundamental is there, material जब combined loading में आएगा, if it comes under combined loading, how will you टेक अ जजमेंट? एक टाइप का लोड है तो इजी, एक्सिल है तो हमको पता है कि नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस आएगा, और नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस जब मटेरियल स्ट्रेंथ से ज्यादा हो जाएगा वह क्या हो जाएगा? स्ट्रक्चर विल फेल। बट मेरे पास एक्सियल भी है, बेंडिंग भी है, टॉर्शन भी है। इन सच कंबाइंड सिचुएशन हाउ शुड आई टेक डिसीजन? दैट यू विल सी इन द यूनिट 4। यूनिट 5 बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट यूनिट है, क्योंकि आपका नजरिया बदल जाता है कि वेयर दिस स्ट्रेसेस विल कम, बिकॉज दिस विल मेक यू टू अंडरस्टैंड। आपने जो रिएक्शन और बेंडिंग मोमेंट कैलकुलेशन सीखा था, वट एवर यू हैड स्टडीड रिएक्शन एंड बेंडिंग मोमेंट कैलकुलेशन इन योर फर्स्ट ईयर, सेम थिंग इज देयर, ओनली क्या है कि बीच बीच में भी रिएक्शन कैसे आता है। आप व्हाट यू हैड स्टडीड, इफ आई मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड इन दी फर्स्ट ईयर, व्हाट आपने क्या सीखा था? ये जब हमारे पास 10 किलो न्यूटन का लोड है ना, 2 मीटर और 3 मीटर है, यहाँ पे कितना रिएक्शन आएगा, यहाँ पे कितना रिएक्शन आएगा, ये निकालना हमने सीखा। बट अगर बीच में इधर कितना उसका इफेक्ट होगा, बेंडिंग मोमेंट कितना आएगा, या सॉरी मोमेंट कितना आएगा, या रिएक्शन कितना आएगा, कैसे आएगा, कैसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होगा, that is what we will be studying in the form of shear force and bending moment. Okay, so then once we understand how to get the bending moment and shear force, then we will study उसका यूज कैसे करना है. So take that maximum bending moment and start designing the beam design for what kind of stresses? Bending stresses. वो bending stresses क्यों आएगा? Bending moment के कारण आएगा. हमने वो देखा था formula sigma is equal to my by I. And then next one is shear stresses in the beam. Shear stresses in the beam. जैसे bending stresses देखा, वैसे shear stresses है. And then इन्फ्लुएंस लाइन डायग्राम, जब ये मूव हो रहा है तब इसका इन्फ्लुएंस लाइन डायग्राम कैसे ड्रा करेंगे. सो मोस्ट ऑफ द मटेरियल व्हाट आई विल बी यूजिंग एंड कॉपिंग इज फ्रॉम दिस बुक, दैट इज रामामूर्तम बुक. आर यू इंटरेस्टेड इन दैट बुक? देन आई विल शेयर विथ यू. इसका कॉपी आपको चाहिए, आपके पास हार्ड कॉपी है तो अच्छा है, but it is difficult, but I will share. I got this soft copy. If I forget, you remind me in tomorrow's lecture. After this lecture I will share जो भी चीज पढ़ाऊंगा इस सब्जेक्ट के लिए, except ये part. So except unit 8, what you need is only and only one book, that is Strength of Materials by Ramamurtham. और आप गूगल पे डालेंगे तो आपको ये भी मिलेगा, आर.के. बंसल का बुक मिलेगा, पीडीएफ कॉपी. ये भी आपको मिल सकता है, आपको प्रैक्टिस के लिए चाहिए तो. कुछ लोगों के दिमाग में होगा कि अगला भी एग्जाम कैंसिल हुआ तो ऐसे चीजें मत सोचो. इसका ऐसे सोचना मतलब क्या है कि
एक्सक्यूज मी सर.
हाँ
सर, आपल्या लायब्ररी मध्ये या बुक्स पैकी कुठलं बुक मिळेल?
रामामूर्तम ॲज वेल ॲज बन्सल दोन्ही मिळतात. खुर्मी पण आहेत, जुन्नरकर पण आहेत, भावी कट्टी आहे की नाही माहित नाही, बट आय विल रेकमेंड ओनली रामामूर्तम. इवन I will recommend one more thing, that is those who want to continue for higher level learning, competitive exam, etc. So if you allow me, then what we can do is those who want to learn those higher level stuff, so parallelly we can study that also. आप लोग थोड़ा सोचो, मुझे कल के लेक्चर में बताओ, हम लोग वैसे अरेंज करेंगे। क्योंकि हम आप जब तक यू आर नॉट कमिंग इन द कैंपस, टिल देन वी हैव सफिशिएंट एक्स्ट्रा टाइम। ये 5 घंटे के बाद जो है, सो व्हाट वी कैन डू इज वी कैन ऐड एडिशनल एडवांस लेक्चर। जैसे मैंने अभी ये स्ट्रेस पढ़ाया, तो उसका गेट में कैसे आता है, तो जो जो गेट और कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम जैसे एमपीएससी यूपीएससी का तैयारी अभी से हम चालू करेंगे। जैसे अभी आपने देखा वेकेशन में हमने पढ़ाया, राइट। सो इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट इधर यूनिवर्सिटी का पढ़ाएंगे, हमारे ये 4-5 जो लेक्चर है रेगुलर स्ट्रक्चर में, और उसके अलावा 1 आध घंटा हम लोग लास्ट के आवर में डालेंगे, उसमें हम एडवांस स्टेप लेंगे। तो उसको हम वॉलंटरीली देंगे कि जिसको आना है भाई वो उसमें आ जाओ। जितने भी लोग मेरे पास होंगे, मेरे आई थिंक दिस क्लास विल बी सिंसियर, 40, 50, 60 में से जितने भी लोग आते हैं उनके लिए आई एम रेडी टू टेक दैट एडवांस द स्टेप आल्सो, मे बी वीकली 2 आवर 3 आवर समथिंग लाइक दैट। तो ऐसा अभी से किए तो जैसे यू डोंट हैव टू वेट फॉर दी वेकेशन। और आप भी खुद रामामूर्तम के बुक में वो एडवांस प्रॉब्लम भी दिए है। तो एज आई टोल्ड यू अर्लियर, आई डोंट नो, वी डिड नॉट डिस्कस दैट पार्ट, कि क्या होता है कि 2 एग्जाम अलग होते हैं ना। एक तो यूनिवर्सिटी का एग्जाम होता है और दूसरा होता है कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम। तो कोई बता सकता है यूनिवर्सिटी एग्जाम का पर्पस क्या होता है और कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम का पर्पस क्या होता है? आपको क्या क्या पढ़ाई आपका, व्हाट इज योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग अबाउट दीज 2 एग्जाम्स? बताओ बताओ बताओ। सो यूनिवर्सिटी एग्जाम में हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि जब हम मतलब जो पूरे सिस्टम का बोल रहा हूँ मैं, नहीं या कोई और नहीं। सो सिस्टम का क्या रहता है कि हमारे ज्यादा से ज्यादा बच्चे, मतलब जिसको फंडामेंटल्स आके जितना मिनिमम बेयर मिनिमम सिविल इंजीनियर कहा जाए उतना आया तो वो बंदा पास होके अगले क्लास में जाना चाहिए। जो अच्छा करेगा, ज्यादा मार्क लाएगा, वो ठीक है, मगर पासिंग इज द मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव। जिसको जो बेसिक मिनिमम आना चाहिए उतना करके। Whereas कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम का क्या पर्पज है? व्हाट इज द पर्पज ऑफ कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम? जितने ज्यादा लोग फिल्टर आउट हो जाए, जितने ज्यादा बच्चे, जैसे 1000 बच्चे बैठे तो अराउंड 800 to 850 students should get disqualified in the written exam itself, and then out of remaining 150 this thing candidates, in the interview etc, we will screen out maybe 20, 30, 15 something like that, so based on the vacancy available. तो ये पर्पज रहता है। तो when I will be teaching in the regular classes, I will be teaching fundamentals, theory part and simple examples which are usually asked in the university setup. So some of the advanced and connected and difficult level content which is there, which usually we take in vacation, if we can, now we are getting sufficient time, if we can take it during after each of the section or each of the part, so that will help you to अंडरस्टैंड इमीडिएटली। उसको ही कनेक्ट करके थोड़ा एडवांस डिफिकल्ट लेवल के प्रॉब्लम लेना है, तो वो हम कर सकते हैं क्या? इस पे हम थोड़ा सोचेंगे। यू आल्सो थिंक एंड यू गिव मी योर रिस्पॉन्स एज अ पर्सनल मैसेज कि क्या हम ऐसा शुरू करें, या सर हम इसी से परेशान हो रहे हैं 4 घंटे बैठ बैठ के। थोड़ा आप वॉकिंग कर करके बीच में नोटबुक में लिखते लिखते पढ़े तो थोड़ा आपका बोर्डम कम हो जाएगा। आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट। जैसे मुझे देखो, so what is happening usually when I am in class, I'm writing something, dictating something, so I'm getting little pause, but here in this setup बहुत कम लोग मुझे respond कर रहे हैं, so I have to continuously keep on talking. तो मेरा भी 2 घंटा मतलब जैसे 4-5 घंटे का लेक्चर है, तो 2 चीजें इसमें हो रही, एक आई हैव टू टॉक अ लॉट, और दूसरा चीज हो रहा है कि छोटे कम टाइम में बहुत ज्यादा सिलेबस आगे जाएगा। So that's why we have sufficient time, we can take sufficient number of examples. So I will recommend this Ramamurtam and Bansal. So both copies, Bansal copy is not good with me, but at least Ramamurtam copy is there. So I will share links or something in our group. Okay, that was about the okay, I have joined maybe from two computers. So sorry for interference. One I will disconnect now. Where is my name? Okay, so leave meeting. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry for inconvenience. All are there? गेले का? सर गेले, मी पण जातो म्हणून कोणतर जायचं. आहेत का सगळे?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. So just now we have seen the syllabus. Now we will once again come back here. So what we have seen the syllabus. So in that, let us you give the title. Let us start little bit. I'm assuming that everyone will write properly. In between, I'm going to ask someone to send a picture of your notebook. So we'll go with that assumption that you will write. So maybe notes, etc. So that it will be a proper learning. So the way we study in the class, same manner we will study. So let us start the first unit, that is called as introduction. That is called as introduction. And please give title unit 1. You can ask me to slow down my speed if I'm dictating fast. I know you can copy, paste, etc. But I want you to follow the classroom type of structure so that you will also follow these things properly. Write down unit 1, introduction, scope of subject, first point, scope of subject, comma, behavior of engineering materials. You can see also I copy it, but I want you to copy it in notebook. Just don't watch and forget, otherwise it will be like a watching web series. So scope of the subject, behavior of engineering materials under axial loading, comma, simple stresses and strains, comma, Hooke's law, comma, stress strain relations for ductile and brittle material, Now I don't have to tell spellings. You are fortunate to see now things here clearly. Elastic constants, comma, working stress, comma, fact. मध्ये तुम्हाला ब्रेक देतोय, मला ब्रेक मिळतोय, हा इंटरनेट वाला मामा. Let me start screen. Okay. Now is it, I hope now I have connected through institute connection. Is it audible properly? Once again, sound check. So sigma is equal to P by A, that is force upon cross-sectional area. So what to say cross-sectional area? What is exactly meaning by cross-sectional area? So suppose this is a some kind of structure. If I am applying some P here, so the cross sectional area is exactly perpendicular area. You have to understand meaning of cross sectional area is the area which is a perpendicular to the applied load. If you want to write definition, cross sectional area means what? Area perpendicular to the applied load. Area perpendicular to the applied load, that is called as a cross sectional area. That is called as cross sectional area. And then this, when we say this stress is usually called as a direct stress. So you will see it is called as a direct stress. It is also called as a normal stress. So it is whatever we studied just now, that is called as a normal stress or direct stress. Normal stress or direct stress. So what is direct stress? Direct stress is that which acts perpendicular to the cross-sectional area of the member. So when the area is taken as a perpendicular area to the cross-section, this is also known as a normal stress. So direct stress is also known as a normal stress. Direct stress is either tensile or compressive in nature. So what will be that? It is either tensile or compressive in nature. When to say tensile and when to say compression? If the length of the member, increases, when the length of the member will increase, when there is a pull type of load is there, pull type of loading is there. So this is also pulling and this part is also pulling. Then it is called as a tensile stress. So you have to understand both compression and normal stress, they are nothing but, compression and tensile stresses are nothing but they both are normal stresses. When they both are normal stresses, their stress formula is same. That is sigma is equal to F by A or P by A or force upon cross-sectional area. What is compressive? When there is a push. From this side I am pushing, this side I am pushing, and contraction takes place. That is, the length of the element gets decreases. Under such situation, when whatever that loading is applied, that loading will create what type of stress? That stress is called as a compressive stress. That stress is called as a compressive stress. Okay. Then comes a shear stress. And you should remember, if someone asks fundamentally how many types of stresses are there, there will be 2 types of stresses only. You may say, sir, तुम्ही काय तर axial, अजून काय काय सांगते, बेंडिंग, shear, torsion आप बता रहे थे, ये 2 ही कैसे बोल रहे हैं? So I will explain it further. So axial, bending, shear, torsion, these are causes of the stress. These are causes. किसके कारण स्ट्रेस आ रहा है? तो भाई एक्सियल फोर्स के कारण स्ट्रेस आ रहा है. तो कैसा स्ट्रेस जनरेट होगा एक्सियल के कारण? वो स्ट्रेस जनरेट होगा नॉर्मल और डायरेक्ट टाइप वाला. टॉर्शन स्ट्रेस यानी किसके कारण आ रहा है? टॉर्शन के कारण. मगर स्ट्रेस कैसा जनरेट होगा? शियर स्ट्रेस. shear force apply किया मैंने, what type of stress will come? Shear stress. So there are 2 things you should not get mixed. One is causes of stress generated, means how force is applied. It's like, as I told you, force is nothing but vector quantity. It is direction as well as magnitude. So magnitude जो आपको number दिया जाएगा, direction यानी either axial, bending, torsion, shear, right? And उसके कारण 2 ही type के stresses generate होंगे. कौन से? Which are those 2? One is the previous slide, direct stress or normal stress, and another one is shear stress. What is difference? You try to see the difference. Here direct stress में your axial force is applied perpendicular to the cross-sectional area. The force is applied perpendicular to the cross-sectional area. Okay. Whereas in case of shear stress, force is applied along the cross-sectional area. Can you see? It's like a frictional case. It's like a frictional. It's like a frictional. Along the, आप जब ये push कर रहे हैं, whatever stress generate, that will be shear stress. ये जब आप, if you pull your finger, the stress, can you see the camera? So the stress generated in your finger will be nothing but normal or direct force. मगर ये जो हम लोग एक दूसरे के हाथ पे और अपने अपने, अभी कोरोना है, so अपने अपने हाथ पे हम जब friction कर रहे हैं, so the stress generated because of this frictional case, that will be nothing but shear. So see, when I am pulling this hand like this, so there is a shear stress generated at the skin, but because of this pulling, यहाँ पे जो stress generate होगा, that will be normal, sometimes combined. So shear stress, what is shear stress? When two equal and opposite forces, obviously यहाँ पे fix किया है, जो ऊपर P लगाएगा वो नीचे opposite force P generate होगा. So when, if I draw it properly here, so if two equal and opposite, अभी आप देख सकते हो ये shear force का केस है, और आपको डायरेक्ट नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस का कैसे रहेगा, यहाँ पे अप्लाई होगा. ये प्लीज कंफ्यूजन हो ना हो, ये है डायरेक्ट स्ट्रेस का डायग्राम, ये है shear स्ट्रेस का. आपको साइड बाय साइड ड्रॉ किया है ताकि आपको समझ में आए कि shear स्ट्रेस कब जनरेट होता है और डायरेक्ट स्ट्रेस. बहुत लोगों को मैं फिर से बता रहा हूँ, पीएचडी करने के बाद भी नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस, डायरेक्ट स्ट्रेस, shear स्ट्रेस का कंफ्यूजन समझ में नहीं आता है. कॉम्प्रेसिव स्ट्रेस, टेंसाइल स्ट्रेस, lot of stresses I have taken. We will draw flowchart diagram, then you will understand what is that. Okay, so once we understand this, we have another 15 minutes, maybe we'll draw that diagram and we will understand. So what is shear stress? When two equal and opposite forces are acting tangentially, that is along the area, to the cross sectional, the stress induced in the member is known as shear stress. Due to these equal and opposite forces, the member tends to shear off across the section. So please write down, draw this diagram and write down. I hope in previous case we have not written this also. We'll write down and then maybe I will explain all the combinations and we will stop for the day. So write down direct stress. डायरेक्ट स्ट्रेस आपको अभी समझ में आएगा. दुनिया में कुछ भी करो, कितने टाइप के स्ट्रेस जनरेट होते हैं? कोई अनम्यूट करके बताए मुझे जरा कंफर्म, कितने टाइप के स्ट्रेसेस जनरेट होते हैं?
ये दो.
ओनली दो. किसी भी टाइप का फोर्स हो, किसी भी एक्सियल हो, बेंडिंग हो, टॉर्शन हो, शियर हो, या दोनों का कॉम्बिनेशन हो, स्ट्रेस कौन से टाइप के होंगे? दो ही टाइप के. उसमें डायरेक्शन होगी. कोई बोलेगा यक्स सिग्मा वाई सिग्मा जेड, मगर ये सिग्मा जब तक है वो कौन सा स्ट्रेस है? नॉर्मल. सिग्मा एक्स का मतलब क्या हो गया? नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस अलोंग एक्स डायरेक्शन, नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस अलोंग वाई डायरेक्शन, नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस अलोंग जेड डायरेक्शन. मगर वो नॉर्मल क्या रहेगा? सेम रहेगा. क्यों नॉर्मल सेम बोलना है? So you will able to understand its significance afterwards. Okay, so normal stress. और दूसरा कौन सा स्ट्रेस है? shear stress. Okay, so write down direct stress or normal stress. Direct stress or normal stress. Direct stress is that which acts perpendicular to the cross section of the member. Perpendicular to the cross section of the member. ठीक है. So you draw this diagram. ये ओरिजिनल बीम है, ये ओरिजिनल बीम है लेंथ यल का. बार कहेंगे, बीम नहीं, इसको मैं बताऊंगा बार और बीम का. जब हम एक्सियल लोड लगाते हैं उसको हम व्हाट वी कॉल इज बार. ये ओरिजिनल बार है. उसके बाद हमने क्या किया, पी लोड लगाया दोनों साइड में, सो इट बिकम्स टेंसाइल, और उसके कारण उसका लेंथ बढ़ गया, सो इट विल बिकम यल प्लस डी एल. और नीचे राइट डाउन, यू राइट डाउन टेंसाइल स्ट्रेस. नेक्स्ट, ये ओरिजिनल लेंथ था, ये बाहर वाला, सो दिस वाज ओरिजिनल लेंथ, और उसके कारण क्या हो गया, लेंथ कम हो गया. सो यू ओरिजिनल लेंथ इज दिस नाउ. Okay, and because of P and P load applied, length got reduced. That means L minus DL, it length how much reduced by DL. Okay, so that is called as a direct stress. So please write further part. आपने अगर ये लिखा, इसके नीचे और थोड़ा लिख दो. उसका फॉर्मूला क्या है, इसमें डायरेक्ट स्ट्रेस कैसे निकालते हैं. सिग्मा इज इक्वल टू P डिवाइडेड बाय A. ठीक है. उसका यूनिट हम कैसे लिखेंगे, राइट डाउन फर्दर. यूनिट्स कैसे होते हैं, उसका यूनिट होता है, फोर्स का यूनिट क्या होता है, व्हाट इज यूनिट ऑफ फोर्स, न्यूटन. और क्रॉस सेक्शनल एरिया का मीटर स्क्वायर. और ये दिस इज द बेसिक यूनिट. उसको एक साइंटिस्ट को रिस्पेक्ट देने के लिए हमने दूसरा नाम भी दिया है, उसका नाम है पास्कल. So you write down Newton per meter square is nothing but Pascal. P ला R करू नका म्हणजे झालं. So it is Pascal. So Newton per meter square is equal to Pascal. And then what you can do is you can also have the other things. Further you write, you can maybe Pascal to you can write kilopascal. What will be kilopascal? 10 raised to 3 Pascal, right? Then what you have after kilo, mega, right? Megapascal, that is 10 raised to 6 Pascal, right? And then what will be there? It is called as MPa, KPa, and the other one is GPa, that is gigapascal, 10 raised to 9 Pascal. Please write it in a sequence. I don't have space here, so I'm writing here and there. So then we will go to, similarly you can go in the lower order also. ये किलो पास्कल लिखा है, उसकी तरह हम लोग नीचे भी जा सकते हैं कि नैनो पास्कल, माइक्रो पास्कल, पिको पास्कल, like 10 raised to minus 3, etc. Micro Pascal, right? So micropascal will be 10 raised to minus 3. Nano will be 10 raised to what? Minus 6, right? And pico is minus 9. So that also, but usually we don't need that. So at least you should know this, okay? Further, sometimes you may be asked the relation between 1 Newton per meter square is equal to how much Newton per mm square. Maybe tomorrow or while taking examples we will see that. Is it clear? Have you written this much part? Shall I go ahead to the shear stress? Okay, so let us go to the next slide of shear stress. Write down next point, shear stress. Draw this diagram quickly. Shear stress, this diagram you write. So as this part is fixed, original shape was what? A, B, C, D, and because of this applied force, it got distorted. What is term in English? English चे शब्द आले पाहिजेत तुम्हाला. You should know what is called distortion. Correct, distortion. So fibers, if I go in detail, what is the process? यहाँ का fiber जो है, it will not change its shape at all. So यहाँ से slowly it has got distorted, something like this. Okay. So what is the definition of shear? When two equal and opposite forces are acting tangentially to the cross section acting tangentially to the cross section, the stress induced in the member, is known as shear stress. And you may ask, sir, what is the formula? So we call it as a tau shear stress is equal to F divided by A. Okay. So formula is same. You can say P by A or F by A, but its definitions are changed. What is F? F is tangential force. F is tangential force. And what is A? What is A? You can say area, or you can say tangential area. You can say tangential area. Okay, it is not cross-sectional area, it is nothing but area along the force. Area along the force. And what will be unit? Unit will be same only. Unit will be same. Okay, shall we go to the next slide? Strain part, maybe we can okay, quickly I wanted you to understand the strain, but before that I wanted you to have a flow chart. So let me see if we can cover strain, or tomorrow we'll cover strain, but before that I will go further in detail of the stress, different types of stress and how that happens. So let me stop this presentation and go to the sharing of whiteboard. Okay, share. I'm sharing whiteboard. Okay, so good. Now is it whiteboard is visible? Swachha hai ka whiteboard?
Yes, sir.
Now you can draw the tree structure, है ना? ट्री स्ट्रक्चर तो हमको समझ में आएगा. ट्री स्ट्रक्चर हमारा क्या रहेगा? पहला इधर क्या सीख रहे हैं हम लोग? स्ट्रेस, राइट? सो स्ट्रेस में व्हाट आर द टू टाइप्स ऑफ दिस थिंग? स्ट्रेसेस आपने सीखा. टू टाइप्स ऑफ स्ट्रेसेस कौन कौन से है? वन इज
Normal.
करेक्ट, नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस और डायरेक्ट
Trace.
डायरेक्ट. और दूसरा उसका क्या नाम है? shear स्ट्रेस. दूसरा नाम क्या है? shear स्ट्रेस. नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस में और कौन से दो टाइप होते हैं भाई? सो देयर आर टू टाइप्स.
Tensile and compressive.
वेरी गुड. सो आपको क्या क्या याद रहा? आई एम चेकिंग. टेंसाइल एंड देन आप ऐसे हम आई वाज आस्किंग यू नो to draw such charts. So if you draw such chart in your life, you will not forget. So what happens in tensile? क्या होता है? pull होता है. So there will be pull P, right? So that will happen. It will expand its dimension, right? And in compression क्या होता है? push होता है, right? So push. So I'm pushing from both sides, P and P, and because of that what happens is my shape gets contracted. Oh, I'm sorry, this will go somewhere, volume has to be adjusted. So this will be compressive. Whereas shear will be, originally its a shape was like this. I had fixed this part. Okay, and then someone applied some kind of force here, and then what happened? Then whatever, let us say area is something like this, we will see here, right? So if we say this is a thickness and this is a width and this P force is applied, here tau will be nothing but P by A. Same formula here, sigma is nothing but P by A, but here you can see it is nothing but B and D. So P divided by B and D, whereas here it will be along the length, along the force will be the area. So it will be P divided by B into T. So this is how we calculate the stresses. Now, further you understand the sources. What are the sources we have seen in the introductory chapter? So for the complete solid mechanics or complete structural engineering, I am suggesting you to remember किस कारण sources of the normal stress. नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस के सोर्सेस क्या है, कौन कौन नॉर्मल स्ट्रेस क्रिएट करता है? डायरेक्टली एक्सियल फोर्स, राइट? अभी जो हम लोग सीख रहे हैं एक्सियल फोर्स का कौन सा स्ट्रेस जनरेट करता है? जनरेट नॉर्मल. दूसरा कौन सा? बेंडिंग. दूसरा कौन सा है? बेंडिंग. सो इफ समवन आस्क्ड, झोपेतनं जरी कोणी उठवलं तुम्हाला आणि विचारलं if bending force is applied or bending movement, we say usually, if bending movement is applied, what kind of stress will be generated? Normal stress. If axial force is applied, what kind of stress is generated? Normal stress. And shear stress, what are the sources of shear stress? One is shear, this thing, shear loading, अभी जो हम देख रहे हैं. सेकंड जो बीम में आएगा, बीम में shear force in beam, shear force in beam, and third will be torsion. अभी आपको समझ में आया? These are sources. किस कारण shear stress generate होगा? कौन सा कारण है? Why और how? Okay? किस कारण? आपको समझ में आया? अब मैं कभी भी पूछूं आपको बताना आना चाहिए कौन सा स्ट्रेस जनरेट होगा. If I apply torsion on the rod, what kind of stress will be generated?
Shear stress.
Shear. If I apply bending moment on the beam, what kind of stress will be generated?
Normal.
Normal. If I apply axial force, what type of stress will be generated? Normal. Keep saying, sir, येतंय की सगळे सांगतायत की मी का सांगत नाही? तोंड उघडा. टीव्हीत सुद्धा आता in this online learning process, you should put habit of responding to TV anchor also. उद्या आपल्याला समजा म्हणले की चला टीव्ही चॅनल चालू होतंय पवार सरांचा, तर त्या टीव्ही चॅनलला पण रिप्लाय समोर सर बसले त्याच रिलिजियसली रिप्लाय द्यायचा. कारण हे सगळं चाललंय ते कुणासाठी चाललंय? पवार सरांसाठी चाललंय का? नाही, ते तुमच्यासाठी चाललेलं आहे. म्हणून तुमचा यू शुड बी इन अ सच अ रिस्पॉन्सिव्ह मॅनर दॅट इवन यू शुड एबल टू अँकर as if you are sitting in the class to the TV anchor also. Abhi, at least here I am I'm understanding your response. But if suppose I am not getting your response, still you should blindly, whenever you watch my YouTube video also, you should keep on responding, giving answer. Then only you will remember it for the longer period. I hope everyone has drawn this flow chart. कुछ लोग मुझे सैंपल मेरे से अच्छा कुछ अच्छा बनाया तो आप इसमें यूनिट्स भी डाल सकते हो. दोनों का यूनिट्स भी सेम है. आगे टुमारो व्हेन वी विल स्टडी और अंडरस्टैंड दी स्ट्रेन पार्ट, इसी चार्ट के नीचे थोड़ा जगह छोड़ दो कल लिखने के पहले. नॉर्मल स्ट्रेन, जैसे स्ट्रेस दो टाइप के, स्ट्रेन भी दो ही टाइप के रहेंगे, ज्यादा टाइप के नहीं. उसको थोड़ा सा मसाला लगा के नाम, जैसे हम लोग बोलते हैं आम का अचार, तो कोई बोलता है स्वीट वाला अचार, कोई बोलता है खट्टा वाला अचार, कोई बोलता है बेडेकर वाला अचार, कोई बोलता है प्रवीण वाला अचार. मगर आम का अचार एक बार बोला तो वो आम का the basic thing will be same. Little bit changes will be there. Likewise, when I say normal stress, I may call it as normal stress along X, normal stress along Y, normal stress along Z, normal stress because of axial, normal stress because of bending. Such names may come, okay? But it's a main ingredient will be same. Main ingredient will be same. So